Let's come back home now, where the Nelson Mandela Foundation is hosting a tribute event honoring the life and legacy of civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson. SABC News reporter Khayelihle Khumalo is live for us at the Nelson Mandela Foundation in Houghton Estate. A very good afternoon to you, Khaya. So how is, of course, this memorial, particularly in this part of the world, tying in with the homegoing ceremony that is taking place in Chicago as we speak? Good afternoon to you.
Well, undoubtedly, Alicia, it is a very solemn occasion here. As you know, that Reverend Jackson was a very just foremost friend of South Africa, having contributed immensely in the fight against apartheid. But also, this is a country that has honored him in so many respects. You go back to when he received that very prestigious award reserved for those foreign nationals, really, who played a very pivotal role in South Africa's freedom. But to really, Alicia, look at the significance of today here in Houghton, we're joined by the CEO of the foundation, Dr. Mbungiseni. So once again, Doctor, let's look at the importance of today. I mean, Rev Jackson was a friend of South Africa. So many times he came here. He advocated for the world not just to turn a blind eye to the atrocities committed by apartheid regime, but I'm seeing so many South Africans from all walks of life are here to pay homage to this gallant civil rights activist.
It is an honor for us today to honor Reverend Jackson. He was indeed a friend of South Africa. What he did, I think more than anybody else that we can think of, is to connect the civil rights movement in South Africa and the struggle against apartheid in South Africa. Civil rights movement in the United States, the struggle against apartheid in South Africa. It was more important to connect those struggles because they were struggles about the same thing. There were struggles against racial oppression. It was also necessary, I think, for South Africa to be seen in the same frame as the United States because it is the activism of Reverend Jackson and others that brought sanctions against South Africa and that helped bring the end of apartheid. Importantly also for us, and why we're doing this as a Nelson Mandela Foundation, is that he had a strong connection with Nelson Mandela. He was here, in fact, in 1990 for Nelson Mandela's release. He was in Cape Town. And when Madiba passed, Reverend Jackson was one of the people here in this very building, in the very room we're going to be in, honoring him. He was honoring Madiba in 2013 as well.
And obviously the timing of it, Doctor, I mean, we look at the current episode unfolding in the Middle East. You look at so many other crises right here in the continent. This is a man really who advocated for freedom, for equality, for all the democratic values. But we're seeing a world really facing all sorts of challenges, the geopolitical struggles that are really affecting so many countries. And I would imagine this is a very good way to have this service right here inside the foundation, the very place where he actually met Madiba.
Indeed. It is important for us to have this service here and have it now. We are in the middle of another war raging in the world in which people are being killed, in which lives are being decimated. Not just the lives of Iranians, but also lives across the Middle East and lives of American and Israeli people whose family members are going to come home in body bags. It is an apt reminder to remember Reverend Jackson, that the struggle for freedom, the struggle for human rights, the struggle to affirm the dignity of each and every person is a struggle that must continue. And those of us who are still here must take the baton and carry forward the struggles that he and Madiba and many other leaders fought so hard to get us here for.
All right. Doctor, thank you so much indeed for your time. That's the CEO of the Nelson Mandela Foundation, Alicia, well encapsulated remarks about the significance of today. In fact, I've seen so many just freedom fighters coming in here at the foundation to be part of this service. I mean, we know that South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has gone to the US to join other global leaders. I mean, you look at what's going to happen today in Chicago, where it's going to be a day of reflection, really just looking at a very incredible life that has left an indelible mark when you're talking about freedom all over the world. This is a man also, Alicia, who was an envoy under the presidency of Bill Clinton for Africa, for the US, advocating for democracy. But I mean, you look at the current situation in the continent, you look at the eastern parts of Congo, you look at Sudan, where conflicts are raging, where so many civilians are really bearing the brunt of the conflict. So we'll continue to be stationed here. The program will start shortly, and we'll just give you a wall-to-wall coverage here from Houghton. So with that, back to you in studio.
Thank you so much to SABC News' Khayelihle Khumalo there joining us from Sandton. And among those former dignitaries that will be attending that memorial, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, as well as Joe Biden. And that memorial is set to take place out in Chicago anytime from now.